Hi, I'm Bran.
Say it. Say it. You won't say it.
I love the idea of Discovery Plus Christmas movies.
I'm Dan. I despise Discovery Plus Christmas movies.
I'm Alonso and Shiplap, and this
is
the Deck the Hallmark podcast.
Deck the Hallmark, it's his podcast. Brandon and friends host his podcast. We hope you like this jolly podcast.
Well, hello there, everybody. Another Monday, another email address for a Discovery Plus free trial.
Free trial.
It's great to be back. It's great to be back. People that say you should just consolidate everything to one email address so that they don't get it.
They don't understand.
no.
They'll just let you keep creating them for all the different Christmas movies.
Free trial at gmail.com's taken.
Oh, I don't know.
Where we just get an email address just for it.
They should get
like,
that.
I'm going to get my free trial at gmail.com.
Freetrial@gmail.com.
I love that.
Don't get used at gmail.com.
Shout out to Discovery Plus. Great job with the free trials.
Way to go, Zaslav.
Way to go. We're talking Christmas Open House, which is, I believe, the last one from 2022. As far as this is concerned.
What day is it? We got one more in August after this one or two more? Yep, one more in August.
One more in August, I think. Yeah, one more in August.
And then it's the burr months, baby.
Then it's September, and then
We're just
this
making crap up. It's the burr months.
We're not making that up. It's
Stop.
been
It's
a
on
thing.
the calendar, Dan. I don't know what to tell you.
It's been a thing. Take it up with Danny Calendar, because that's not us.
Danny Calendar.
We've got a fun month, I will say. But then in October, leading up to the start of the holiday season, we're doing Spooky Christmas Month.
Ooh, now I am excited about that. How could we not?
It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. So just buckle up your seatbelts if you want to, and you can do that. Alonso, you went out of your way last holiday season to watch this movie.
I did.
Why did you? Why did you?
Because Dave and I watch Hometown, which is the show that the Napiers are on. And so when Discovery Plus announced they were doing these fakakta movies that were going to include their actual, reality show stars, we were like, well, I was like, I got to watch the Napiers one and see what that's even about. And
so you guys,
we'll get into it.
You and Dave
actively watch the Napiers.
Oh, just me. No, I watched. Yeah, Dave and I watched their show. Yes, but I
every week you're like, it's time for the Napiers to tune in.
Not like every week, but every so often we'll be like, oh, we haven't. Let's and we'll catch up. And sometimes it'll be 2 or 3, and we'll maybe fast forward through some of the ripping out the walls part, But they're really charming, and it's kind of the shtick of the show is charming. It's basically they have this small town in Mississippi. They really love it. They wanted to come back there, and they're basically renovating the entire town one house at a time. So somebody will come in, and maybe somebody they know or they don't, and they're looking for something very specific, like I've got kids, or I want a yard, or I want this or that, and they'll show them 2 different choices. And we'll talk about this because this movie very much wants to be shaped like a Hometown episode.
Right.
Yeah.
Whether or not that's to its detriment, we can get into.
I guess we'll see
as we
the hot
discussed
take segment.
Well, I love the idea of sitting down and watching an episode of Hometown with you and Dave. That tickles me
wonderful.
to death. I would love to do that.
Here for that. Is there anything else we should talk about before we do the thing?
Philo.tv/DTH. Really, so much better than anything out there. There's so much stuff. And you can watch the Philo Deep Dive where Dan and I each week dive deep into Philo.
We have found shows on the Philo Deep Dive that we now watch regularly.
We are
neck deep in Survive the Raft.
We sure are.
If anyone out there watches Survive the Raft, please email us so we can talk to someone else about it aside from those of us in the office.
It's the best.
It is absurd, and we love Survive the Raft. And I'm not a reality TV show guy, but Survive the Raft, bring it.
Big fan.
So good.
Philo.tv/DTH.
Check it out on Max.
A Christmas open house. A Christmas open house is what we're talking about. November 11th, 2022 is when it premiered on, I believe, Discovery Plus. I think it aired on HGTV at some point. Do you think so?
Probably.
Yeah. And it went a little something like this. The movie kicks off. We're at a wedding. It's Melissa's mom's wedding. Melissa is the main character, and she's talking to her friends at a table.
Who's the main character?
Melissa.
Good.
Melissa is at a table with her friend for what seems to be a very long time, talking about how busy she is, and she's staging houses, and her boss is always calling her. She's recently single, blah, blah, blah. We're at the reception. She bumps into David, her high school ex-boyfriend, best I can figure, and he's in real estate.
Best you can figure, they tell you that.
Right, best I can figure,
Okay.
though, based off of the clues that they give us, which is, here's what he does.
Yes.
An explanation.
A full explanation. So she finds out, talking to him, that her mom is going to sell the house because he has a relationship with her professionally and is going to sell the house. And so she convinces her mom to let her stage the house for Christmas. She's kicking around the idea of going out on her own. Maybe staging houses. Maybe starting her own biz. But to do this, she is going to have to work with David because David is the real estate agent, best I can figure. They meet up and they're walking through the house and they decide, what if instead of just staging, we renovated this whole sucker?
Flip that. No, sorry, go ahead.
Move that bus. So he calls up his friends, the Napiers, except it's not them. They have different names in this movie. It's just like Bobby Flay did. Nothing matters.
Timmy Tryon,
it's a whole
whatever his
thing.
name was.
Timmy Tryon. That's exactly right. And get some pointers on how to flip a house and blah, blah. They get to work doing some demo. They get to work doing some flirting. They go to Nog Fest. They talk a lot about Nog and make a lot of Nog jokes. They do some more work in the house, and then they play basketball with a group of people dressed like Santa. They decorate a tree inside the house because they are still staging it. So you got to stage
Yeah,
with
of course.
Christmas stuff.
Yeah.
You get it. They get back one day, and I think it's the day they were hung out with the Napiers as well. They did a full hangout
thing,
sesh.
yeah, double date there,
Anyway,
yeah.
they get back, and the furniture that they had brought to the house for staging is now being moved out. Apparently, is a clerical error.
There was some sort of
error. You could take it up with them,
Yeah.
but tomorrow's Christmas Eve.
and that's when they're showing.
That's when they're showing the house. So, what are they going to do? Well, the good news is they live in a small hometown, like a small town, and so they get some stuff sent in from the neighbors. They all chip in because the neighbors care and stuff. They all show up on the lawn because it's open house day, and these people come up and they say, "We want to buy this house. We will pay you cash. We will pay you less than what you're asking for, and we're going to tear the whole thing down." And after hearing this one offer, Melissa says, "Not only am I going to say no to you, the house is no longer for sale.
Yeah.
I think I want it. I guess. And
moving to town.
I'm moving back, and so that is good enough for them. And they kiss, and then unfortunately they kiss again, and that, my friends, was a Christmas open house. David,
We did it.
we did do it. We're gonna take a quick break, and we'll come back and break this movie down with hard
Break it on
hitting
down.
analysis. Deck the Hallmark. Hi, everybody.
Hey,
Welcome back.
We're at our best right now.
It is good to be here.
Clicking.
We're talking about a Christmas open house. Should it be called a Christmas Eve open house? Maybe. Doesn't matter. It's time to break this movie down. Alonso, we're going to start with you with the segment called The Hot Take, where we share what we felt about this movie that we just watched. You have had the honor of watching this movie for a second time.
Because once again, you just have no morals.
Look, hey, I am dedicated to my job here, and the hard-hitting analude. What did you just say before the break? I didn't even.
I don't know.
get what that
Hard-hitting
word was.
analyses.
There we go.
Analyses. Who sees?
First of all, I guess as someone who's seen the movie twice, I do have a quick correction for that plot synopsis. She doesn't keep the house; she sells the house to the pregnant friend who's already got 2 kids.
That's right.
Yeah, we remember that.
Yeah.
At cost or something, like like definitely like
You're right.
cutting her a bargain.
I apologize.
Which weirdly enough is a plot move they also do in this summer's Jennifer Lawrence movie No Hard Feelings. But anyway,
Yes, it is.
that's
You're
a
right.
that's a whole other thing. I will say this. Now, I have not. This is what the 4th, right, of these Discovery
Yes.
Plus movies we watched.
It's the 4th free trial.
I don't watch Duff. I don't watch Bobby Flay. I don't watch whoever the other one was. So I can't say how much those movies compare to that show. I do admire the commitment to the bit of like, what if we make a Christmas movie that is shaped like a Hometown episode, where we do at the beginning, we sort of imagine what the rooms might look like. And then in the middle, we'll like build stuff and move things around and knock out walls. And then at the end, we'll do the walkthrough with the before and after. So that's all happening. What is not happening is much of a Christmas movie, and certainly not much of a romance. So, depends on if you're here for a Hometown episode writ large, you're going to get that. If you're here for a Christmas movie or a romance, sorry.
Yeah. I understand how you guys now feel.
No, live look at Bran after someone telling him Christmas is canceled. That is what Bran was at the end of this movie.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Here's the thing is I like HGTV. I like watching home makeover shows. Doing it in a fictionalized format with actors was weird to me, and I didn't like. They spend a lot of time doing the thing that they do in these shows, which is what if we did this, and they like do the 3D model version or whatever, and like so that you can envision it, and it just doesn't work for me knowing that it's not real, that it's not an actual house. So I don't know, that it's not for the show. Like I want it to be for the show. So I don't know. The relationship itself was kind of whatever to me. And so I am intrigued to see if Discovery does more of this coming year. I haven't heard anything one way or the other. If they're going to get back in here with the HGTVs and the foods and the whatnots for movies that Mar Vista makes for them. I don't know how big of a success it was. Looking at the reviews on IMDb, I don't think there were a lot of people that were like clamoring for more. But that doesn't mean anything because there's money to be made, I'm sure. So I'll be interested to see. But unfortunately for me, this was not one that I thoroughly enjoyed, and I feel bad about that.
I think 2 years ago they might have done one with the Pioneer Woman.
Yeah, that sounds right.
That I got about 20 minutes into, and I was like, nope.
Oh, so they've gotten better, is what you're saying? Look, gang, we have a lot of fun here at Deck the Hallway, and we watch a lot of Christmas movies. Are there qualitatively worse Christmas movies than this? Maybe. Is this my least favorite Christmas movie that we've watched on this program? Probably.
Wow.
It combines the worst elements of a renovation show in a Christmas movie. So, like, you don't get the fun Christmas feels and chemistry from the Christmas movie, and you don't get the real life stakes of the renovation show. You get the bad stuff of the renovation show and the bad stuff of a Christmas movie, and you put it together into one big bad smoothie. That's what happens in this movie. It is a tough watch. Chemistry, forget it. I started to get uncomfortable knowing that these two leads had to kiss at the end of this movie. With 30 minutes left, I was like, oh no, they're gonna kiss. Like I thought they were breaking some sort of law by kissing at the end of this movie. I was squirming in my seat. A lot of this movie is just explaining what if we did this instead of this, like a renovation show. But to Brand's point, it's fake. It's not real. It's not really happening. So you get the absolute worst of both worlds. And I don't think, I reference movies that I thought were bad over the course of whatever, like the Wizard of Oz CCB movie, the Nantucket Noel, Doc is Breaking. There's these movies that I'm just like.
The Unicorn.
These are trash movies. But I can see like how they're for someone. But if you're a fan of the Napiers, I don't know why you would watch this when you could just watch their show. And if you're a fan of Christmas movies, I don't know why you would watch this. I just like it has to be the least recommendable movie. It was tough. And then Brand's over there, like somebody's just giving him like all the Ambien in the world. And he's just sad, trying to stay awake. We were not having it today. And it was a tough watch for a tough movie. And I like the Bobby Flay one more than this as a movie. I do have feels, don't skip me. Serious feels. Not I'm still alive, I made it through feels. Serious feels, so come back to me.
I still, similar with Bobby Flay, don't understand why they don't just make these famous people that we're here to see play themselves.
Be the people. Yeah.
I don't understand it for the life of me.
Yeah, doesn't make any sense.
It is insane.
And we're supposed to believe it, I guess, or not.
But also the Napiers, they're not them, but they do in this movie do the thing that they do on their show. It's like we do renovation stuff. So
yes, and he makes things out of wood.
Yes,
and, the whole thing.
Yes, we are ourselves, but we are not going to call ourselves. Yes, it's a very interesting move. Let's get to the feels, Alonso.
Well, always got to give a shout out to the gays when they throw them in these movies because look, most of the ones I know do watch shows like Hometown or other sort of anything that's about like house renovation or whatever. So I liked that bit of acknowledgement. I would attend Nogfest in a heartbeat if that were a real thing for sure. This movie has an actual moment of relevance that like Dave was half paying attention to it and his ears like perked up. He couldn't believe they actually said it in the movie. She has a line about her job in Atlanta where she says, I have staged the same house 3 times or 5 times in 3 years. Nobody ever moves in, but the price keeps going up.
Yeah.
That's actually really relevant to what's going on in the real estate market right now. There's a really great documentary called Push that I highly recommend, not based on a novel by Sapphire. And it is about how like you see in big cities, like all these high rises going up and people are being displaced out of neighborhoods for new apartments to go in. And then no one lives in them. They just become these kind of like chits that investment houses pass back and forth. There's a company called BlackRock who's like one of the worst offenders in this regard. And so that's why you have in a lot of major metropolitan areas, certainly in LA, all this like new housing going up and then still all these unhoused people on the streets because no one's actually living in these spaces. They just become, pieces on a game board for like, investment types to shuffle around. So the fact that this movie just threw that in as a little aside was kind of like, oh, all right, moment of relevance. I'll take it. Even from this, Dave White approves.
Oh, look at that. Dave White, if you're watching on Philo TV, you'd see the Dave White thumbs up.
Worth it.
That's right.
Yeah, worth it for that alone.
To be clear, and this does play into why I watch Hometown and why, this movie was one that I wanted to watch. 2022 Ben Napier is the sexiest MF who has ever been in any of these made-for-TV Christmas movies. I know that people love they love their Tyler Hines and their Andrew Walker and their Kevin McGarrys, and more power to you. We all have our own preferences. 2022 Ben Napier in a Santa hat, get out of here. That is the apex. It's never getting any better than that.
Dave White just cackling in the background is the best part of that. I will say back to I don't want to like just dampen the mood here because that was great. But the real estate thing, I did not notice that in the movie, but I do see all these real estate agents going, what's going on now is not like 2008 because prices are still rising. And it's like, yeah, if you've made it like a Trojan horse, of course they're still rising. Like that makes a lot of sense now. I need to watch that documentary.
Yeah, the lesson from 2008 was like, well, if we stick a bunch of people with like these, really attractive mortgages, eventually they're all going to default and the whole bubble collapses. But if no one actually lives in any of these places and they just sort of exist as the idea of housing, we can still shuffle that around. I don't know. It's all crazy. My one last feel is I love the awful buyers. Yeah. Like they cast perfectly that sort of like those people that always look like they smell like somebody else passed gas, and just their utter attitude of not having any of this small town nonsense was like, oh yeah, that's how you do it in these movies.
My feels was Alonso talking about Ben Napier.
Someone saying sexiest MF on the show is got to be at the top of the list.
The highlight of my day, and I loved it. Dan?
My feels, I did not know who the Napiers were before this movie. I did not know about their show Hometown. Is it Hometown? Is that it?
Hometown. Yeah.
I don't watch any of that stuff. And comparatively to the other personalities that we've seen do this, Duff and Bobby Flay, these two are Daniel Day-Lewis. These two actually are giving somewhat of a performance, whereas Bobby Flay and Duff, it's really tough sledding, but when these two are on screen, the movie doesn't get any slower than it already is.
But to that point, if these two are capable actors, just and they're going to play fictional characters anyways, just give them the movie.
That's right.
We're here to see them. Don't care about the leads.
And apparently 2022, James Napier, what's his name?
Ben
Napier is the sexiest MF of all these movies. So give him his movie.
Give them the movie. If they're going to play made up people anyway and not themselves, give them the movie.
I endorse this course of action, but no one listens to us.
No. Let's take one more quick break. We'll come back with the wait what and the what the Hallmark hero or what
Deck the Hallmark.
Well, hello, everybody. Welcome back. We're talking about a Christmas open house from 2022. Let's get to the wait whats. Alonso, you should have double the wait whats since you've seen this double the times. Let's see.
Yeah, but at some point I did kind of check out, so I'm sure y'all will really pick up on it. So early on, they're doing the work of like, ripping things out and taking things out of the house, and everybody is wearing like the most photogenic flannel, and no one is perspiring. Like it is. They look like they're doing a layout for the L.L. Bean catalog, but it never at any moment does it appear like anyone is actually exerting themselves or performing any actual labor.
Whereas later in the movie, people are wearing long sleeves and sweaters outside, and you can see the sweat on them.
Yes, just because they're standing there in Georgia in August or whatever,
Yeah.
Okay, so our female lead and her high school friend are in her room, and they talk about how, you didn't talk me out of grunge. Grunge was 30 years ago. Nirvana was an early 90s phenomenon. So how old are these people?
Yeah, we got a math issue for sure.
They feel like they were born after grunge even happened. So I don't know how we're talking anybody out of that.
They were grunge in pre-K. It was a pre-K grunge situation.
Hey, Melissa, you got to check out Nevada. They're amazing.
Smells like Teen Spirit.
That smells like teen smells like something else. You got a poopy? You got a stinky?
Yeah.
Gotta wrap a little flannel shirt around my romper.
Doc Martens are so cute.
Gotta be honest. Kids talking about Nirvana. Yeah. I don't know what it is, but I like it.
That's me on the cover of that record. No, anyway. That's a deep cut. Anyway.
That's really good.
That's me.
Never mind. Get out of here.
There you go.
I like
Thank you. Drink bleach. The big one of this movie, because it comes up over and over again, is like, of every movie ever where the people have to plan a party or, like finish the gazebo, whatever it is they're doing in these movies, and they have a limited amount of time to do it, and the movie keeps counting off the days until Christmas. No one has ever had less time for shenanigans than these two, and yet they constantly go off and do shenanigans.
Yeah, they do. A lot of shenanigans.
Do not have time for any of this for Nogfest, for like, going to pick up the I guess maybe that's part of the job, but I mean they're so easily distracted, and it's like, y'all have a deadline. People are coming to look at this house on Christmas Eve for some reason. So like, if that's the bit, please commit to it.
There's a reason you don't see the Napiers goofing off in their show hometown.
That's right. They have a job to
They're not going and walking around Nogfest.
That's right.
They're getting her done.
I have a few. One, listen, I'm all for a fast wedding, fast reception. Let's get in, get out. This is, I think, the fastest I've ever seen a couple go from kiss the bride to first dance, because they literally kiss and then someone, as they're walking down the aisle, go, now it's time for the first dance. So it's just like a turn your chair around situation and watch the dance. It is immediate, and I guess I am here for it. Most of my wait whats come from a basketball game with Santas.
Oh my gosh.
Boy.
It's just
Shenanigans.
yes.
So many shenanigans.
Honestly, I don't even know. Even if you're not renovating a house, there has to be anything else that you have to do. There's not enough time. But her best friend says that she wouldn't miss the Ho Ho Hoops game for anything. For anything.
So your family is having their traditional Christmas Eve
So-
dinner, and
so-
they moved the Ho Ho Hoops game to the evening.
There's nothing you can do.
You got to go with the Ho Ho Hoops game.
I don't know. Here's a thing. What if your baby's on the way?
Yeah. Nope. Ho Ho
No.
Hoops.
Stay there. Let's go. It's the Ho Ho Hoops game. Another thing about the Ho Ho.
And her baby may be on the way if they're getting married and dancing that fast.
yeah.
Like, clearly, we got to get through it.
The Ho Ho Hoops game also is a Santa versus Santa competition, and you know which team you're on because they clearly just didn't have enough Santa costumes.
That's right.
So all of the guys are wearing the Santa's jackets, but no Santa pants. Girls are wearing no jacket, Santa pants. That is how you make the most out of your budget.
Can you imagine?
Just split the wardrobe
Team-
down the middle.
Team my pants.
My pants. Can you
pants.
imagine wearing a Santa jacket and beard and hat to play basketball inside? I would. No. Absolutely not.
Stuff. Dan?
I got to get this one out of the way first because I was appalled. I was offended. I say a lot of mean things about Georgia on this program from time to time. This woman who lives in Atlanta is in Rutledge, which I think it's still in Georgia, like it's close by. I don't know where she's supposed to be for the movie, but they're filming it in Georgia. And they're at this hole-in-the-wall restaurant. And he's like, this is really good food. And she goes, oh, my goodness. They just don't make fried chicken like this in Atlanta. She says, all right, stay with me. She says that in Atlanta, Georgia, home of, among others, Gladys Knight's Chicken and Waffles, she says that in Atlanta, they don't have the capacity to make fried chicken like she's trying on this sandwich in Rutledge, Georgia.
Walk down a street.
That's right. Walk just for the love of everything good and decent.
Read a guidebook.
Right, yes. Read a menu. Write a better script. I can't imagine of all the cities to call out, to put on blast for their fried chicken.
You cannot get a decent fried green tomato anywhere in the metropolitan Atlanta area.
Man, it's so tough to find a good Coca-Cola on Fountain in Atlanta.
If only there was a
With
whole
peanuts
world
in it,
of it.
forget it.
I just don't. I couldn't. I didn't pause it because I wanted to move to the end as quick as possible, but I couldn't believe that they had the audacity to be like, doesn't taste this good in Atlanta. Are you crazy? Have you lost your mind? It's absurd.
To make matters worse, the sandwich they were eating looked like hot garbage.
Can you imagine someone being like in Nashville, Tennessee, and then going out to like, Dollywood and being like, eating a bite of chicken and being like, they just don't have hot chicken like this in Nashville. It's literally named Nashville Hot Chicken, you doofus. That was unbelievable. I couldn't believe they did it. Early in the movie, the mom is trying to talk her into working with David to sell the house. He's the real estate agent. You should stage the house. And she says this line, just work with David and you'll get his commission. What does that mean?
Does she got to run that by David?
Does she promise the daughter the commission of the real, like, are we taking his commission to give to her? Bold. It's a bold move. She's trying to think of a really thoughtful gift for David. And she FaceTimes the Napiers. And she's like, can you help me? You've known David a long time. Like, is there anything you can think of? And what's the woman's name? Not Billy Napier. Ben Napier. Ben. What's the woman's name? Sharon? What is it?
Aaron.
What? Aaron Napier pops in and she goes, you know what the thing is about David is he's got a lot, but he doesn't have really nice business cards. So the only thing I could imply from that is his business cards are garbage and nobody wants to tell him. But also, like, how often, I know you're a real estate agent, you're using those. Aaron Napier, the only thing she can think of is what if we custom made him a business card? That's one of the worst gifts I've ever heard of. Like, bar none.
What I also love is at the end of this movie when she finally gives him the business cards is he says, I also went to Aaron. So it's like, these are clearly Aaron designed business cards.
Just so you know, Aaron designs business cards.
Well, and the thing where sorry to interrupt, but where she gives them the painting of the house, that's also a thing she does on the show.
Oh, really? That's fun. Does she also give everybody business cards?
She does not, but maybe they're going to branch.
Would be a good,
that.
a nice touch.
They're trying to nail that Vistaprint sponsorship. You know?
No kidding. Promo code DECK, everybody. Like, I don't like. That's wild that this was the gift. Business. They couldn't think of anything else.
Best business card scene since American Psycho.
Yeah, wow. That's a callback. You've definitely seen that, haven't you?
Yeah, I love it.
I will say this. I've always thought that the snow in Unicorn for Christmas was the worst I'd ever seen. No. The snow.
Hold my Nogfest.
The snow, that's right. The snow in this movie is a choice. Green grass abounds everywhere. It's falling. None of them. They've been told, I guess, to act like it's falling. They did it in post. I just said, I'm pretty sure that's pollen, is all I said, which would make more sense in the context of Atlanta than there being just a flurry that everybody's
if
like,
there was snow falling down, they would all be pushing each other out of the way.
Yeah.
Gotta get home!
That's right.
We're gonna die!
Literally, traffic in Atlanta was in a complete gridlock for what was it, 18 hours because they got hit with 6 inches of snow and an inch of ice. It was done.
Oh, please. I spent 8 hours in a plane on the tarmac at Hartsfield because it snowed and they had like 2 de-icers for the whole airport.
Yeah.
And basically we sat on the tarmac while everybody else used our gate to land and then they finally brought us back in.
Yeah.
It's a nightmare.
Yeah, it's brutal out there. It's tough. There's a child in this movie named Daphne and she gets a ton of screen time and does not say a word. And I thought all movie long that it's because she's technically an extra, a background actor, and she can't talk. But then when they're decorating the tree, she says one word. She says like, yeah, or there, or something, one word. And it's like, why have this little girl who's adorable in all of these scenes and to just use one word from her? It didn't make any sense to me anyway.
Does she have the same last name as any of the producers?
Gotta be. I would say. I think that's gonna be it.
It's time for discover more.
You get a D+.
Ooh.
Oh, I like that.
When we wonder what could have been, maybe have a Gizmo clarity question we'll still have. Alonso, what are you still wondering about?
Mom's new husband.
Yeah.
That's a lot of toy trains. Yeah. That's a lot of toy trains. And I do not wish to impugn the railroad model aficionados or collectors of the world, but there's something about him and those trains and the way he's presented in this movie where you're just like, is this, are we going to get a Lifetime movie spinoff here? Like,
The
I don't know
last
what's
time
going
I
on.
saw someone that old with that many trains was the Trinity Killer in Dexter. Just John Lithgow. So I don't think so. I think I'm out on that.
Just gave me a little, felt it in my spine.
Yeah.
I don't know if we have the same one or not, Dan. We'll find
We'll
out.
figure it out.
There is a scene and they're together in the car,
Yeah, here it
and
is.
okay, so they're listening to a song called "Hello Santa,"
Yeah.
which is a weird song.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Can we turn it off, please?" And he
right.
informs her
That's right.
that he has made a deal with her best friend,
Gloria. Yeah.
A bet.
a bet, which is
$20.
$20 says that she won't make it through
one
one
song.
song. What?
Yeah.
How?
But like one, if you're riding with someone and they have the standard rule, which I don't actually have this rule, but a lot of people I know, I believe producer Erin has told me she has this rule, which is if I'm driving, I choose the music. Like that is the thing he says is I'm driving, I get to choose the music.
Aaron shrugs.
If I'm driving
She's
along,
like, I have to defend myself because I sound like just an authoritarian now.
well, a driver chooses the music, but passenger shuts his K-hole. But
That's right.
Listen,
Cake-hole.
I've never ridden with it.
That's a
I
quote.
always drive. Yeah.
yeah. But if I'm driving long distances, I need to at least know the music that's on the radio. If it's something I've never heard of, my brain will start to try to figure out like what are these lyrics, what are they saying, and I just need something that's background music so I can focus on the road.
I gotcha.
So you
Wow.
can choose the music, but I just want it to be something.
Okay.
Like my brother likes to listen to like alternative rock. Like
Yeah.
like if it's not, or it's something that's very. I just
Yeah.
yeah.
I
Just
got
need it
you.
to be something I recognize.
I just know
So
that
she is authoritative,
you got it.
but for safety.
yeah.
It's not for no reason.
Authoritative for safety. I know that if I'm
Analyses.
I know that if I'm in a car, I'm always driving, so I can't possibly choose the music all the time. There's only so much ska we can listen to, you know.
Oof. You guys like to give me a hard time for being old fashioned, but the idea that Aaron listens to the radio, like, I mean,
Uh-oh,
okay.
he's back.
I listen to radio all the time.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't listen to radio in ages.
Me neither.
That's crazy. Well,
But when you said the music on the radio, did you just mean the music that's playing, not necessarily specific to
Terrestrial.
93.3 The Planet or whatever.
Not specific to the radio, but it needs to be. If we're gonna listen to the radio, it needs to be one of my preset stations.
Okay.
Or just yeah.
All right.
Fair enough.
All I'm saying is this. My point in all that was he makes the rule, the driver chooses the music. If
That's not fair.
But if you know that going in, and know I'm going to try to get my music in there somehow because this is going to drive me bonkers, you're going to give him a couple of songs first. You're not going to jump in on song
But
one
if you
and be
got
like,
20,
this is BS.
if you got $20 on the deal, though, you can go strong from the start with Dominic the Donkey, and be like, no way she's
Dare
gonna
you.
just make
Yeah.
it through.
Also, this movie has not established her as a character who despises Christmas. It's
all.
not like from a couple weeks ago, the lady who got abandoned at the altar on Christmas Day, and now doesn't want to hear about any of it. It's like, no, she's not anti-Christmas. So I don't know why she would, there'd be a bet on whether or not she could endure his admittedly terrible taste in Christmas music, because that song is garbage.
Yeah.
Hello, Santa. We did, everybody. Congratulations. We're going to be back next week. We're heading back over to Up TV for the Snowball Effect. The Snowball Effect. I believe it is a weather-related movie.
What? Cool.
We'll find out. Until then, may we be the first to wish you a Merry Christmas.
Deck the Hallmark's a Bramble Jam podcast is produced by Aaron Shea. For more information on Deck the Hallmark, you can go to deckthehallmark.com. For more information on the Deck the Hallmark family, you can go to bramblejamplus.com. Deck the Hallmark is presented by Philo TV. For a free trial of Philo, go to philo.tv/DTH.